Morning thoughts, morning thoughts, morning thoughts. Shout out to the people going out to work this morning. Shout out to the people coming in from work this morning. Extra special big up shout out to the people who work multiple jobs. I have the utmost respect for you. Shout out to my entrepreneurs, my stay at home moms and pops, my retirees. Shout out to the drivers, the Uber driver, Lyft driver, truck driver, taxi driver, food delivery, round town and long distance truck drivers. Shout out to the garbage truck driver, very essential. Shout out to everyone in the medical field, very essential. Shout out to every single clean hearted, good hearted person who wants good for others as much as you want good for yourself. You're a good person. Don't let that go over your head. Manners and respect to you. Shout out to every single clean hearted, good hearted person who wants good for others as much as you want good for yourself. You're a good person. Shout out to you. Where we are this morning on a beautiful Monday morning, giving thanks for health and strength. And we're about to go on with the show. I have something in my mouth, so in case you're wondering why I'm talking like that, it's one of those throat candies, those lozenges, but I'm gonna take it out. And I do have my tea here this morning, some sliced up lime in some warm water tea. All right, on the board this morning, before we go bigging up people, where's my card? On the board this morning, we have the Maroons made an apology. And the Maroons made an apology without Chief Currie. Hmm. Now, we're going to talk about that. See, what I did was I made a video and I did a voiceover. And I did not post the voiceover, so I'm going to play the voiceover here. So it's well read and breaks down everything. Remember, recently we had a conversation about this because Queen Ifrica, when the royals had visited Jamaica, Queen Ifrica stepped in front of the news media camera and Queen Ifrica said that the Maroons need to issue an apology because ever since they signed that treaty, we've been suffering ever since. And I told the audience, I said I was going to reach out to Queen Ifrica and I was going to reach out to Chief Currie and I was going to try to get some understanding of what that is about because I don't know what that's about, right? And I had seen another video where some guy, some Rasta was saying, back in them times we used to fight with machete and blades and stone and whatever. And nowadays in Jamaica we have big tall guns. Is rally the man them need for rally up all of the big tall guns and go around this up, which part them Maroon the deck and slaughter off the whole of them. And I was like, wow, it must have been some kind of atrocity for people to still today be calling for that kind of violence towards people who we thought were held in high esteem. All right. Well, it all came out. It all came out. Queen Ifrica never got back to us. Chief Currie did get back to us. Shout out to Chief Currie. He did get back to us. But Chief Currie, when he got back to me, he said, first of all, sorry for taking so long to get back to you because I missed it. Apparently he missed the message. It happened to me all the time too. So he missed the message. And when he finally got it, he said, as far as what Queen Ifrica was talking about, that would be best for her to answer it, not him, because he doesn't know. And he also said, as you can see in the video that she did, she had on one of our shirts, standing in solidarity with us. And the shirt said, Sound the Abeng. Sound the Abeng, and the 1738 or whatever the year was that treaty was signed. So he was like, I don't know what she's talking about this apology thing. It would be best for her to answer. Well, I don't know if she's in the business of sharing information. I consider myself a well-read person, but you can't read everything. And sometimes you don't even know where to start looking because there's so much stuff out there. So sometimes when we share information to enlighten each other, it's okay. You don't have to grab up all the information for yourself and act like I'm smarter than you, me know more than you. And then listen to people talk foolishness and be like, yeah, idiot, you know, what you talk about, you know. Don't use what you learn to put others down or to exalt yourself. Sometimes it's good to just send people directly to where that information is located so they get the message as well, right? Not saying that's what she did. I'm just saying it's easier for people to do that, but they don't. Now, I'm going to let this thing play. But before we talk about that, that's one thing on the table this morning. As the whole apology was issued and stuff, I was wondering to myself, like, okay, I'm going through it. I don't see no Chief Currie on board. I don't hear Chief Currie saying anything about this. And then later on last night, I'm going through IG and Chief Currie issues a message. And his message pretty much says, hey, these people is not in no business dealing with us, and they have no right to speak or have not been given any power of authority to speak on our behalf or conduct any kind of business on our behalf. In other words, then, minna inna with them inna is what I got from his message. I will read through his message as well. See? But today we're going to understand what the rift is about and what the apology needed is about. It's pretty deep. It gets clear today. For those of you who are into your history and you're trying to understand certain things. And then, of course, DJ K. Slay, the famous, infamous, legendary DJ K. Slay passes away at, I believe he was 54 years old. Many of you might not know who DJ K. Slay is, but I'm sure many of you do. Especially if you live in New York, you're probably going to know who he is. If you spend a great deal of time in the US, and if you're into hip hop, rap culture, music, black music, you're going to know who DJ K. Slay is. DJ K. Slay battled the big COVID. He battled that for months, and it still ended up taking his life. So, you know, there are a lot of places that are opening up right now. A lot of rules are changing. People are saying drop the mask, no longer needed around here. Mask up if you want to, and all that. Nobody is really pushing anybody to go get the vaccine anymore. The campaign is over and all that, and people are still dying, right? Because he battled it for 3 months or 3 or 4 months, and he passed away. So rest in peace to the legendary DJ K. Slay after battling COVID for almost 4 months. We got to talk about him for a minute. That's the original drama king. Slap your favorite DJ, DJ K. Slay. His name and his imprint is on so much. He was considered a gatekeeper within the industry. Like if he co-signed you, you're out the door. If he says no, you're not flying, right? And he held that level of authority and power to the last minute. So that's one of the legends out there. And now DJ Kid Capri has tested positive. And I was going to say something about my own health, but I will save that to the end of the show as well. Don't want to alarm anybody, but it is what it is. All right. So let me go big up some people real quick. And as I do that, after I do that, I would like to play the recording first. First things first. Usually I ask you, hey, should I play this or that? Let me see how long it is. It's pretty lengthy. The Maroons apologized for it's 16 minutes and 32 seconds. Let me put it on speaker. Y'all gonna listen this morning, and then you're going to see all my facial expressions and whatnot. Let's cue this up. All right. Well queued up and ready to go. That volume is loud. Let's go big up some people. Straight from the top. Whole lot of green in the house. I'm still pushing the same campaign. Shout out to our last $100 winner. Still pushing the same campaign. Still go over to Eat Good TV, hit that subscribe button, and continue to support that channel. I see the activity over there doing extremely well, and I'm proud, right? Also, we're still doing the membership thing. So get your membership for this channel. Be a part of this movement. When you get the membership, it's more than just getting a membership. Yeah, you put your name in the box to one day be randomly called forward as a winner of $100 or a couple of $100, but we're trying to work our way up to where we're giving away $1,000 every 30 days. So it might not sound exciting now because it's $100, but I guarantee you when it hits $500 and $1,000 and your name is called, then most people would be excited about that. So build with us and help us to get there, right? And then we'll all benefit from it. Shout out to all the people who have their memberships. You understand the assignment, and we appreciate you greatly. Asserin Odette, the first one in the building this morning. Thank you for being here. Great goodies. And on that note, We only big up green this morning. Great Goodies is in the building this morning. Jet Shelley is in the building this morning. June O'Brien is in the building this morning. Theresa Lewis is here. Lisa Stevens is here. King Biggs, morning fam. Marcia Walters is in the building this morning. Purple Royal is also here. Audrey Minot is in the building this morning. Maxine Good as Gold. There. Arlene 876 is in the building this morning. Audrey Wright's here. Star K. Solar J 819. Clean D. Little Red Gucci 2. Anita Cannon is in there. Kanan is in the building. Elaine Bent is here. Mervin Insta. The Point. Jamaica Kerr. What a name. Is in the building with the green this morning. Shelly P, big up yourself. Lady J, big up yourself. Senior Sexy, big up yourself. Thank you for being here. SDs, big up yourself. Thank you for being here. Veronica Gale. Star K, thank you for being here. Star K says, I love the live, but sometimes I love to watch it after on in the day. LOL. Well, as long as you're a part of it. As long as you're a part of it. All right. And thank you for watching it, whether you watch it later or right now or whatever. Stash is in the building this morning. King Biggs, I'ma Inspire is here, all green. Tracy Chin is here. Good morning, Tracy. Thank you for being here this morning. Dorothy T is in the building this morning. And Candice on the beat, like London on a track, is in the building this morning. Carrie Ann Jones is here. Marilyn Grant is here. Donna Davis is here. Donna Casada is here this morning. Nadiva Smith is in the building, and Erica Dean. Erica says, it's a beautiful morning, everyone. I'm so thankful to be above today. Yes, we are. Life is unpredictable, and no matter how long the ride is, it's still short. I told y'all before, I spoke to somebody, an elder man, he was like 99 years old, and he said, he don't even know how he got to 99. Like he says, I look around today and I'm wondering, like, where did all the time go? And I would think 99 is a long time. You lived a long life, to be at 99. You must be tired now. You must be saying, boy, I've been around for so many years, and it's not the case. Talk to an elder. They'll tell you the time went by like this, my friend. I can't believe I'm right here at 99. Brendan Newton Francis. So give thanks for your every day that you get. Brendan Newton Francis is in the building this morning. Big up and have a great day, everyone. DR is in the building this morning. Nikki Trueprint is here. Angel of Mine is here. Julie Taper is here. Roxy21 is here. And of course, Soli J. King, Big Sean Cassell is in the building this morning. And if I never call your name out, it's because you don't have a green, and I was only bigging up people in green this morning because they understand the assignment. Understand? We're trying to get somewhere. Big up anyway. Thank you for being here. All right. Hear this. Remember, I told you I was going to contact them.
SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and let's talk about this. So we had a discussion recently on SouFLoTV where Queen Ifrica made a statement, and I told my audience that I was going to reach out to Queen Ifrica, and I was going to reach out to Chief Currie of the Maroons and see if I can get some answer from either of them. Queen Ifrica has not responded to us to this day, and Chief Currie recently responded and apologized for responding so late, said he had not seen our message. However, hi, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. Wrongs were done. And what it is they needed to apologize for, because Queen Ifrica said they have to apologize, right? So the Maroons finally says sorry, is the headline for today's news, taken from the Jamaica Observer. I'm going to go through this article, and hopefully it brings about an understanding to us as a people as to what it is, what wrongs were done among us, by us, to us, that needs to be apologized for. The headline says that the Maroons finally says sorry. Indigenous group regrets bloody takeover of slave uprisings on behalf of British colonists 283 years after. Okay, this sounds to me like some of the Maroons were working with the British to make sure that there were no slave uprisings on the island. In other words, they were capturing and returning runaway slaves, rebellious individuals to these plantations on
Wow.
behalf of the British. Some
Wow.
type of deal was made between them. Now, if that's the case, that's pretty sickening, but let's go into the article. So, the article says it took almost 3 centuries, but on Good Friday of 2022, the Maroons of Jamaica apologized for their sordid role in crushing popular anti slavery uprisings and forcibly returning runaway slaves to hellish conditions on British owned sugar plantations, sullying their storied history. Man, y'all know what happened on those plantations, right? You know, the buck breaking and all the other stuff that happened. Could you imagine the Maroons were a part of actually grabbing some of us when we escaped and taking us back to those plantations through whatever deals they had made? Now, two of the more well known slave rebellions put down by the British colonial forces.
This is deep. This is deep. Understand the anger. I told y'all the other day when I heard the brother that he's on YouTube, when I heard him say that back then we used to have machete and stone and this, and today we have big tall up gun and enough bullet and ammunition and thing like that. And is a group of man need to gather up them gun, they rise up the tall up gun, them and go around this or which part them maroon that and slaughter off the whole of them. And I thought in 2022, this is deep, right? If indeed this is true, this is deep.
With the solid support of the Maroons were that led by West African slave Chief Taki of St. Mary in 1760 and Baptist Deacon Paul Bogle of Stony Gut, St. Thomas in 1865. Bogle and his key ally George William Gordon, they were hanged but later named the national heroes of Jamaica. And just 2 Fridays ago, April 8th, was officially declared Chief Tacky Day, henceforth to celebrate the freedom fighter credited with the first slave uprising in the Caribbean. We regret the hurt and suffering caused from such actions. We take total responsibility on behalf of our ancestors, said Paramount Chieftainess and Queen of the Maroon, Gamang Gloria or Mama G. Sims, the woman now occupying the seat that was once held by Queen Nanny of the Maroons, the only female among the several or seven national heroes. We realize that we cannot undo the past, but we can remedy the situations through reconciliatory actions that will repair the damage and rebuild trust so that these behaviors will not be repeated, said the Maroon spiritual leader in a press statement. The Maroon Queen, a tireless campaigner for the rights of indigenous people, used the platform of the Jamaica Observer to express the long awaited Mea culpa days before she journeys to the United Nations to represent diaspora and Jamaican indigenous people, Maroons, and other African retention communities, and the Taino tribe at the Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. Founder of the Maroon Indigenous Women's Circle, she will be part of a delegation which includes representatives from Trinidad and Tobago, Belize, Dominica, Suriname, Sierra Leone, and Jamaica, made up of professors, human rights lawyers, and academics from international universities.
Hmm.
The archives of the National Library of Jamaica describes the Maroons as enslaved Africans and the people of African descent who ran away from their masters or owners in search of freedom, dating back to 1655. At the time, the Taino and Africans were freed by the Spanish occupiers, took to remote parts of the island for refuge from the English invasion of that year, to establish their own settlements.
Mm-hmm.
They became a formidable force that significantly challenged the system of enslavement imposed by the British. All right. But recognizing that the Maroons were a thorn in the flesh that defied their superior forces, the British offered them a treaty with a certain amount of autonomy. You have to listen to this part right here. But recognizing that the Maroons were a thorn in the flesh that defied their superior forces, the British offered them a treaty with a certain amount of autonomy, but cunningly included, but cunningly included agreements to help the British forces take down slave uprisings and return escaped slaves to the plantations. Now that's crazy because when Queen
That
Ifrica
right
made
there.
that statement, when the Kate and whatever his name is, the British so-called royal, visited Jamaica recently, and Queen Ifrica said, ever since the day they signed that treaty, we have been suffering
Ever
since.
since.
That was what I asked Chief Currie
Mm-hmm.
about. What was Queen Ifrica talking about? And what was it she was saying that an apology was needed for? And he said he doesn't know what she's talking about, and it's best that she be the one that answered that question. However, she has not replied to us. But
Let me pause that to say this. I thought, okay, if anything, right, if we were being transparent, first of all, there's no, and I don't want to see any more division. I don't want to see any more division. But if we were being transparent, when I asked Chief Currie that, I think Chief Currie, there's no way he does not know that this is what, because this is well published, well publicized. Like I said, if there's knowledge out there, we should share with each other by sending each other directly to the source. Stop exalting ourselves and talking about, oh, go read a book. Go read which book? There's a million billion books out here. You know what I'm saying? Send me straight to where it's at. Yo, SouFLo, before you tackle that topic anymore, you need to go read some more. Read some more of what? I'm reading everything on earth and still can't find this piece of information right here until now. So I think that there is absolutely no way that Chief Currie did not know that this is what she was referring to. And had he said that to me, like, yo, SouFLo, brother, well, what Queen Africa is referring to is the fact that, the Maroons did, under that treaty, did sign a deal with the British. It was kind of like a leave us alone kind of thing, and we will help you to crush all the slave rebellions that rise up on the island. And we will also help you to capture, recapture, and return the runaway slaves back to your plantations and stuff like that. If he had said that to me, I would have been like, wow. Chief Currie said to the audience, right, that this is what it is that she's saying. Now let's go see if it's true. But he didn't say anything, and because he didn't say anything, I found it another way. And it's published now. When it was published, please understand, I went through the entire thing, and I'm looking for the cosign of the apology from people like Chief Currie and whoever else. There was no Chief Currie cosign to this. Understand? But Chief Currie did issue last night what's called a public notice concerning this. And I'm going to read the public notice to you concerning this after we're done listening to this. We're past halfway in this, so continue to listen.
here we have, but recognizing that the Maroons were a thorn in the flesh that defied their superior forces, the British offered them a treaty with a certain amount of autonomy, but cunningly included agreements to help the British forces take down slave uprisings and return escaped slaves
Trick them in
to
the
the
fine print.
plantation. So, what this is saying to me is that the Maroons ended up working with the British, right, to make sure that the slave uprisings did not happen. And when we escaped from the plantations, to return us to the plantation masters. But neither the British nor the Maroons had said sorry for their actions against the slaves until now. The timing of Queen Gloria's heartfelt apology on behalf of the Maroons appeared to have been prompted by the declaration of Chief Tacky Day in a commemoration that was signed by the Governor General at the behest of Culture Minister Olivia Bobbsey Grange. A Jamaican group led by Derek Prince Black X Robinson that has now gone international has been advocating that Chief Taki be made a national hero and that the commemoration is being regarded as a step nearer to the ultimate Jamaican honor.
Hmm.
The Maroon paramount chieftain who said, "We must continue to honor the sacrifices and bravery of those who fought, embraced the Taki Day Declaration as truly befitting in this time."
Please listen. Tacky is, many are saying that Tacky should actually be a national hero in Jamaica. Tacky waged one of, if not the most, matter of fact, the largest rebellion and the most significant rebellion against capitalism and slavery of that time. And Tacky was brought down with help from the Maroons. The British were able to bring Tacky down with help from the Maroons. I see Stash is asking, Stash says, we are forgetting that these were slaves. Jaja, crazy. What people getting mad about? Well, Stash, if your house is broken and your brothers decide to go fight against you, this is the old divide and conquer stuff. And they used it against us, and the Maroons participated in it. Is according to this, this is what this says. Okay, this is what this implies, that the Maroons were sellouts. Let's be for real. Let's use the word, right? It implies that they were sellouts. Yeah, they were slaves or they were under slavish conditions, and there was slavery on the island, but they could have waged war alongside their brothers and sisters. Instead, to keep themselves happy and free, they sold the people out. I'll catch them and bring them back to the plantation for you, long as you guys don't mess with us, right? I understand you got a lot of guns or whatever. We're going to fight you regardless. And some of us are going to die and some of you are going to die. So how do we get around that? All right, the British says, we won't touch you, but this is how you're going to help. And they took the deal. And they were like, okay, let's do it like that then. See? So that's why people are mad. That's why people are mad. Three Finger Jack. Some said don't forget Kojo and Three Finger Jack. And well, this speaks of this particular person though.
It is time for us to bring the spirit of Sankofa to bear, to go back and fetch what is left behind, to restore. It is time to repair and heal. Therefore, as spiritual leader of the Maroons, I declare April 8th annually an National Reconciliation and Truth Day in recognition of all atrocities done in history that involved Maroons. And as our elders would say, when trouble take you, pick the shot, fit you. Reading this article, I see a picture of Chief Currie, but no mention of Chief Currie being a part of this apology
At all.
or partaking in any part of this event. The article goes on to say exactly 262 years ago this month, Chief Tacky began his short lived rebellion in St. Mary that was brutally put down by the British with the support of the Maroons. So Chief Tacky led an uprising to free slaves, and the Maroons helped the British to brutally put Chief Tacky down. Wow. But not before catapulting him into the history of those who fought to make Jamaica independent and inspiring the Haitian Revolution that gave the world its first black republic. History. On Easter Monday, April 7th, 1760, Chief Taki and his followers launched a fierce but bloody uprising that claimed the lives of white masters and overseers on the frontier plantation and culminated in the capture of Port Maria, the parish capital, from British colonial forces.
Hmm.
Ironically, the rebels were inspired by the First Maroon War that also occurred in Jamaica from 1728 to 1740, led by Queen Nanny of the Maroons. However, the success of the Maroon War and the signing of their peace treaty with the British eventually helped to bring about the downfall of Taki's rebellion.
Hmm.
Wow. In her statement to the Sunday Observer, this is as plain and as clear as it gets. In her statement to the Sunday Observer, the Maroon Queen appeared to suggest that the British should also be held accountable, arguing that in their struggle for peaceful freedom, the Maroons signed an agreement with the British to suppress rebellions and return escapees from slavery, among other terms set out in the Treaty of 1739. This aspect of our history has left behind lingering wounds that must be addressed through a truth and reconciliation process. This Chief Taki Day
Hmm.
declaration comes from the Governor General, whose role is to represent the same ruling power that wrote the Maroon Treaty, with clauses that demand them to suppress rebellions and capture the escaped enslaved. This was a conflict of interest and remains a hurtful scar on our history. Let us, as liberators and freedom fighters, take responsibility for what our ancestors have done. Let us move to heal the rifts, Gaman Sims urged. She said that in observing the history of the past, it was only important to recognize the present state of crime and violence in Japan.
Gahamang Sims is the woman who sits on that throne today. She is the queen of the Maroons. All right, the Maroons come with king and queen. She is the queen of the Maroons. She sits where Nani sat in Nani's time and throughout history. She fills that space. This is who is speaking.
In the homes, in the schools, in the communities, as well as the violence being done to the status of Maroons in Jamaica today, using this historical memory to set examples that will benefit all. The impact and results after many years of war have always left destruction, suffering, desolation, and isolation. Wars and conflict leave diverse scars, spiritual, psychological, and physical scars are the primary damages from war. And these scars affect and touch every living thing in the environment, either directly or indirectly. Honor and recognition are emblematic of courage and bravery. We must continue to honor the sacrifices and bravery of those who fought, she said. The Maroons, divided into two groupings, the Windward and Leeward Maroons, maintain vibrant communities such as Trelawney Town in St. James, Accompong in St. Elizabeth, Moortown and Charlestown in Portland, Nannytown in St. Thomas, and Scotts Hall in St. Mary. The Accompong Maroons, led by the controversial Chief Currie, have been plagued with leadership conflicts starting last year. And that was the end of this article. After saying all that in the article, why did they end the article by saying the Accompong Maroons, led by the controversial Chief Currie, has been plagued with leadership conflicts starting last year?
Exactly.
And I mentioned earlier that I see a picture of Chief Currie printed along with this article in the Observer. However, it says nothing about Chief Currie having anything to say about this apology.
He does.
Hmm, so be it.
All right. That was the end of that. And that was published yesterday. Okay. Now, Chief Currie, like I told you, you didn't hear any mention of Chief Currie until we got to the end, where you heard the Akampong Maroons have been plagued with leadership issues since last year, whatever. And I was wondering, like, what the hell did that have to do with anything, and why did they put it in there like that? Okay, I see somebody saying, what do they expect for Chief Currie to do? People expected him, people like Queen Africa expected him, and others expected him to do exactly what was done with this article: expose the truth, acknowledge that this did happen, and move forward. And that is what Queen Africa was saying. Like, there needs to be some sit down and some understanding of, some acknowledgement of, apology, and a recourse, right? So we can move forward as one. But you can't divide my house and half of my house go slaughter off some of our people alongside the enemy and then come back and act like we're one and now we must move forward as a family. And it's a no. You have to come talk about this, is what she was saying. So for those who asked him what they wanted him to do, right there, what was done right here with this article, he didn't do it. Okay, here's Chief Currie last night. You can go to his IG and you can read this for yourself. It says, the administration of the sovereign state of Akampong would like to inform the public that our government has not engaged in any partnership agreement or business relationship with the entity called Jamaican Maroon International Development Society, or JMIDS. We thank the members of JMIDS for their contribution and outreach, but it should not be construed that the sovereign state of Akampong has accepted or signed to any agreement, nor have they been empowered to do business on behalf of our people or administration. Coveat emptor, and the end. Whatever that means. Says what it says, right? And then, of course, you can go read all the comments. He's in talk with two more Maroon states because he had held meetings with them, but none of them, some reasoning him with no like, and some of them don't like Currie and blah, blah, blah. So there's inner turmoil going on, or that's what it seems like over there. Anyhow, like I said, I would find it, what it was, and get to the bottom of it so all of us can understand exactly what the animosity was about and what Queen Africa was calling for an apology for. We clearly understand now. We clearly understand now. Can't, no sound? Mic check, 1 2 1 2. The sound goes and comes. So please let me know. When you can hear me again, just say you're good to go now. When you can hear me again, say you're good to go now. Not hearing you. Okay, sound is gone. Sound is gone. Sound is back. What are we doing? Good to go? Good to go. Good to go? Okay. All right, so one more time. Chief Currie. After that was published yesterday, Chief Currie, last night, this was posted to his Instagram, and it says, remember I told you there's no mention of Chief Currie in this apology. It did not come from him. Some people are under the impression that there is only one set of Maroons in Jamaica. So anytime you're, when you're there foreign and you hear news, you kind of, you yourself, it's left to your interpretation, because a lot of us didn't know that there were other groups of Maroons on the island. A lot of us didn't know, like listening to this, we would think, oh, Chief Currie them issue an apology. And it wasn't, because he has no part, dealings, business in any of this. Anyhow, the administration of the sovereign state of Akampong would like to inform the public that our government has not engaged in any partnership agreement or business relationship with the entity that is called Jamaican Maroon International Development Society. We thank the members of JMIDS for their contribution and outreach, but it should not be construed that the sovereign state of Accompong has accepted or signed to any agreement, nor have we been empowered, nor have they been empowered to do business on behalf of our people or administration. Caveat emptor. The end. And that's, you can go to his IG and read that for yourself. In response to the big apology, and I'm just glad that I completely now understand what took place. I understand now what took place because I couldn't understand, and I didn't want to show you the channel that was calling for their murder, their slaughter, their death today. I didn't know that there was such thing out there until I saw it. And the man say, yeah, and the boy Chief Currie up there with them boy there and the all round them people around there, so I call himself, but them I call himself Maroons. Listen up. Anybody who call himself Maroon today is a traitor. Understands that this is what you are calling yourself and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And what is he talking about? This was the day that Queen Africa said apologies need to be handed out. Chief Currie them need to come to the table, talk up the things them, accept that certain things did happen, and it left us thinking, what the hell is she talking about? Well, we know now. Pure distractions, my friends. We need to unite. Well, it's not as simple as saying pure distractions because blood was shed. Blood was shed. And betrayal took place. So, of course, today we can look at it and be like, it's been some time removed. Let's get together now and feel all right, like Bob Marley said. But you must understand that there are people here today still that can directly trace their lineage back to people can look at you today and say, yeah, my great grandfather or my great great grandfather, he was murdered by the Maroons from so and so in this rebellion. Yeah, so they were trying to get free and whatever, and that's why we don't deal with them, and that's why there's bad blood, and that's why. So the bad blood is there. Once blood is drawn, it's hard to just say, okay, let's forget about what happened in the past and let's move forward as a people. Some people want a simple apology and a simple acknowledgement that what took place did take place. Our history has been saying it, so don't leave us out here looking like we're crazy. Come forward and say it's true. Come forward and say you now represent those people who did that back then. And on behalf of them, you can't change history. You can't undo what your ancestors did, their wrongs, but you can acknowledge that this is what happened and let's find a recourse moving forward today. See? Chosen High Priestess says there are Maroons residing all through the Caribbean islands. Well, I am a Maroon, so why you going to soldier? SouFLo. Yes, that's factual. That's factual. And for some reason, people think that they're only in Jamaica, and some people. That's why I say education is important, and we should continue to educate each other and not act like, oh, I have all this info for myself, so I'm smarter than you. Go and go read some more and these things, right? So they're in Maroons are all throughout the Caribbean, not just in Jamaica. First of all, what do we do? How do we move forward now? That should be the question. Again, Paul Lindo says, I can't hear you. Everybody else hearing me? So I need to talk about it now. What's my apology going to do? Well, Ira Life, who are you, first of all? Do you even need to apologize? You know? Loud and clear? All right, loud and clear. Let's not get this all twisted. Who are you and do you need to apologize? Maroons, we're talking about a specific set of Maroons and a specific time period and a specific incident that happened over a period of time. So this does not apply to every Maroon across throughout the Caribbean, because all the Maroons throughout the Caribbean weren't doing the same thing that this specific group of Maroons were doing, right? So don't endear yourself to something. Oh, so what me need to apologize today for? I can trace my roots back to them, but what me need to apologize today for? Maybe you don't have nothing to do with nothing. But the people who represent those people who made sure that Taki's rebellion got crushed and Taki himself lost his life, and they were there working alongside the British, and they signed that treaty of 17, whatever the date is, it's on Queen Africa's shirt. Those people are who we're talking about. Those people are who we're talking about. So be specific with it. It's not in applying it to Maroons everywhere. Not all Maroons everywhere. Listen, the people who, the runaway slaves who they normally existed like in desolate areas, they ran off into places that it was hard for normal people to actually survive there. I spent a good deal of time reading yesterday. So they would go to where the rocks were sharp and the corals were high. And there were like sinkholes and drop off points that you couldn't see. You go over there, you disappear if you don't know the land and all that. And they moved into these regions throughout the Caribbean because it was hard for the British to get to them or any enemies to get to them, right? And they were called Maroons. So it's not just everybody and every Maroon, it's this specific set. This specific set. All right. We are too focused on our black brothers and sisters. British need to do all the apology because they know what they were doing by still putting us against each other. No, that's like saying I blame the guns and I blame people that make guns. Somebody left a article like a book for a comment yesterday, and they spent a great deal of time cursing the gun and cursing the maker of the gun, and it's the wickedest creation that humans have ever made. Because look at what it's doing to our people. I can pick up my gun right now, and I'll put the gun right here, and that gun will stay right there and not shoot anybody until I'm done with this show. And it still won't shoot anybody after. It's going to take a human to pick that gun up and point it in the direction of another human being, your brother and sister, and pull that trigger, right? Evil inventions are all around us. They're just inventions, though, until we use them to destroy each other. I say that to say this. You said that we are too focused on our black brothers and sisters, and the British need to do all the apology. And I say to you that don't worry about the British apologizing because they probably never will. Them apologizing and accepting what they did throughout history would then be one step closer to what is called reparations, which they don't want you to have, because reparations would truly empower you. Real reparations would truly empower you, and it would probably send them broke. So that's not in their best interest. What we can do though is clean up house. We can clean up house among ourselves and ensure that there's now a good relationship there. How we know that they're not still harboring feelings from back then? You're saying let's move together as a people and fight forward, but you betrayed me in the past. So how do we move together as a people and fight forward? You know, it's like you have that friend or that relative who betrayed you in some way. Even if you forgive them, that relationship will never be the same again because it will be constantly in the back of your mind. You can't just move forward blindly again. You understand? You cannot just move forward blindly. There has to be a sit down, a talk it out, an acceptance that certain things did happen, a recourse. Or else I'm going to always be side eyeing you and one eyeing you. Because I don't know if you come in with the same betrayal again. Please understand that these people are very spiritual people. We are spiritual people. So even the basic thought that that same bloodline is still in you and it's still alive, That same spirit is still within y'all. You carry your ancestors' spirits. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not no basic Englishman reasoning we dealing with here. You carry your ancestors' spirits. So we need to know that you can come to the table now and say, John, no, what we did was wrong. If you can't even do that, then there won't be any recourse and any moving forward. So now we're about British and apology. Let's clean house from inside out. Right? That's where it starts. That's where it starts. I see something going around where they've even rewritten history in a sense where you now have African descendants walking among themselves, blaming themselves for the transatlantic slave trade. You know, and you got to understand that whoever controls history or whoever controls the time period controls history. So how slick is it to not only enslave you for generations, but then figure a way out how to get you to blame yourself for it happening? Leaves me guilt free. Leaves me guilt free. Hey, they were selling their, we needed labor and they were selling people. So, hey, we bought people. Don't blame us. Blame your people. Your people sold you. They never came back to get you. Remember? Hey, that's what it is. And now you have Africans in the West mad at Africans in the East, and some saying, let's go back to Africa, and others saying, don't come here with your foolishness. We don't want to, so and that and there. And while the culprits are in the middle just doing like this, hey, we're still dividing and conquering, yes. And where do we go next? Well, I'm sure there are some valuable artifacts in Jamaica. Let's try to go dig up some of that. And well, we already control all the coltan and the gold mines in Africa. So let's see what else we can unearth and what valuables we can get for ourselves. They're still fighting amongst each other, Yes, from that wheel that we had set in motion. Look at it. It's pretty exciting, isn't it? And we're in the middle. We use Alencia Smith says, what do you mean by clean house? Okay. Clean house, fix up house mean unite, sit and talk, and get us on the same page. Us. Not so much running after others. Hey, apologize to us, apologize to us. Give us money you owe us. Apologize to us when there's no unity among us yet. We need to clean house first. We need to fix up house first. Because obviously there is bad blood here inside of the house right now. And it needs to be addressed, right? I don't know if that was the addressing of it, but clearly, I don't think Chief Currie and his Maroons are on board with this big apology. But through it, we are able to understand exactly what Queen Africa was talking about, exactly what happened. Do I think that that is attainable? Yes, man, it is. It's attainable. However, I don't know, like the inner dealings of things, like what will prevent them from doing that. Who stands to gain something from not doing it? We live in a very tricky world. It's still all smokes and mirrors. People have interests vested and so on and so forth. So you don't know what might, me looking in from the outside, look like, okay, come on now, bring everything together. Let's sit down and talk this out. All right, brother, you still represent those people. Accept that this part of history was true and it happened, right? And let's move forward. And that it's easy for me to say that. In them, we don't know what going behind the scenes with why they wouldn't. The green and orange people living in perfect harmony. Stash. Divide and conquer is still very much alive and well. And it's a strategy that has been put in place and it works very well. It's working. We've been saying come together forever here in America, and that can't happen because too many blacks benefit from the corruption. It's not even that too many of them benefit from the corruption. It's pretty much like we're a lost people. A lot of us are lost. A lot of us don't even know what to be loyal to or who to be loyal to, you know? And we can see it today as well. The same betrayal spirit is still very much alive among us. Like, who killed us more than us today? A wheel was set in motion, and that wheel is still very much in motion. For instance, if you read the Willie Lynch theory, you will understand what I mean when I say a wheel was set in motion, because that's exactly how they described it, setting that wheel in motion. And guess what? If we put our foot down right now and put this in place, generations to come, we'll just have to ease off and just watch them continue to do this to themselves for generations to come. That's actually a part of that theory that was written out specifically in it. And it's still happening. It's still happening. So some of us wake up, some of us are not awoke or awakened yet. And that's where the problem lies. You know, a conscious brother is going to come over here and start talk to a brother that's not so conscious. And the brother that's not so conscious, I got either kill him or talk about move from running so with the foolishness are. Yo, dog, you know what? Hear none of that. And then there are obstacles that we have to get over in the meantime as well. You know, some people are so entrenched in poverty that they don't care about all the other stuff that you're talking about. They can't see this far ahead. They can't see no way down the road. They want, like, yo, me I suffer right now. Me want money right now. Me I chop your line right now. Me don't care about consequences. And you're like, yo, come make we talk about this instead. Yo, brother, me don't want to hear nothing about none of them old story there and them history talk, the dog. Me dep on something else. So it's hard. It's hard with all the obstacles in the way. And believe it or not, it's designed like that. Because when the obstacles keep you off balance, you more concerned about, worried about, damn, how do I feed my family? Shit, I don't want my light to go off. My neighbor's gonna be looking at me like, why for them house always dark? You know, we want nice car in the driveway too. We want a nice house too. We want some money in the bank too. I want my kids to go to good school too. They have so many things that they use to keep you off kilter that you can't balance yourself and come to, okay, let's focus on real building real generational wealth. Let's focus on building real power for generations to come. Let's unite. Let And most of the times, what we're scratching and fighting at each other to get it. See, me becoming rich means holding down a couple of my own people or hiding valuable information from a couple of them. And them becoming rich means thieving it back from me or killing me to get it. And it's just it's a crazy cycle that we've been put in. But it was all by design, though. And you got to understand the cycle. So asking me again if I think that it's attainable, yeah, it is attainable, but we're way far into this rabbit hole, my friend. It's going to take, I don't want to say miracles because miracle is like so superficial, but it's going to take something like miracles, you know? They say Dominica, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent have large Maroon communities. Yes, they do. And other Caribbean islands. It's all throughout the Caribbean. I never have the issue I keep hearing. Maybe it's a regional thing based on usage. I hear clearly. John Allison. Yeah, John Allison, you know what? Sometimes some people come on and they say, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. And it's like 10 of them in a row. And they're not in the same place. But then there's like 20 people who says, I'm hearing just fine. You know, but to cater to everybody in the family, just give me a heads up when the voice, the chip out, when the sound chip out, so I can chill for a minute till it comes back in. All right. Let me close out this segment by saying this. I would have really appreciated, and if Chief Currie is watching this, I don't want Chief Currie to think that I'm speaking bad about him or against him. But when I asked you, what is Queen Africa talking about? Because I laid it out specifically. She was speaking, she said this on this show, whatever. When I said that, There is no way that you did not know. Now I'm thinking in my mind, if this is what she is calling for you to do, are you willing to do it? Or are you going to continue to say, not acknowledge that that happened? Because as long as you don't acknowledge that that happened, then there's going to be turmoil, inner turmoil, you know? It's like me, my family, right? Say the Simmons live right next to the Joneses and they've been living side by side for forever. One day, couple years ago, let's say 50, 60, 100 years ago, some of the Smiths decided to break into the Joneses' house. They raped a couple of our family members and they killed some babies over there and they slaughtered out some of our old people and stuff. But we've still maintained living on that land side by side. The Smiths, the Joneses, right? Or the Smiths and whatever. So there will never be peace there. Never. Unless those who now exist on on the other side can come and say, boy, a terrible thing happened in history, you know. And you know, we can't apologize for what the family members did before. We weren't there. We don't know what did go on at the time. But from our understanding, it was wrong on all levels. You see what I'm saying? It says a lot to somebody else. Like, damn, okay, they acknowledge, you know? At least them acknowledge. Don't wake up every day and go on like, when I talk to them people that call, we just not like them and we and them don't really agree. Well, we want to know why we don't agree, you know? And the new generation is going to want to know why. Okay, so why we don't agree? And then the stories are going to start to come out. And then new generation is going to take that resentment a different way because they don't fully understand and they're not getting any kind of recourse from the other side, you know? So it's like, wait, when we hate with the generations, well, we hate to them, you know? It's like gang warfare, man. Bloods and Crips today that kill each other over wars that were started way back when, from the beginning of Bloods and Crips. Half of them that are killing today on that banging stuff don't even understand why. Now it's been reduced to blast on sight, colors, you know? And that's kind of like where this is for those who don't know. Nicole Gardner says, I don't understand how you didn't just have the slaves stay with you instead of sending them back to the British. You know, I asked the same thing, Nicole. I asked the same thing, and it's weird. But there's literature out there that says that some of them were taken in. There's literature that says some of them were taken in. So I don't know, but there is literature that says they fought alongside those British and they helped, and a lot of people got slaughtered on their behalf. You know, I don't think we're correct from research. Check out Maroon speaking on Big Stone Television. He explains it from another perspective. Sher Phillips. What I find weird is that Chief Currie was not a part of this, even though it hit front page yesterday. And they put a picture of him in the article. They injected a picture of him in the article, and then they said nothing about him all throughout the article until the end of the article, where they mentioned leadership issues among his group of Maroons. I found that very weird. I was like, because you got to think with an open mind, right? So I'm like, is this like sabotaging him? Yeah, Stash, like dissing him, divide and conquer again. That's what I thought. That's what I was like. That's real. If you listen to the end of this voice thing that I just played for you, I actually said it at the end. I was like, this is weird, very weird. And I was gonna just put pictures together and make this a slide and just put it up on the channel. And my spirit was like, nah, you need to play this out and talk it out. So I saved it for this morning. Nicole Marshall says we need to understand what is the motivation behind the article. This is why we're inviting Chief Currie and whoever else to come talk, because I don't think people are speaking enough. Those who claim to hold true knowledge, I don't think they are speaking enough. And when those who hold real information don't speak, those who think they have real information, they will speak. And then the masses will start to hold what they are saying to be factual because nobody else is speaking, right? So the leaders and the teachers need to come out and actually speak to us and say what it is. If I saw it go, I saw it go. And we can look at you and say, well, goddamn, you need to apologize, man. And, let's move forward as a family. And if it's not so, you need to come out and say that too. Like, hey, you guys have it twisted. That's not how it went, blah, blah, blah. But put us in a position to understand. Trini Elbay says, keep thinking you're from somewhere else, and the occupiers will continue reaping the benefits of your inheritance. And I see Grubbalis asking what is going on with the Cockpit country. The Cockpit country is, as far as I know, the Cockpit country is up for grabs, as far as I know. It's up for grabs. A petition came across my desk. And when that petition came across my desk, I've spoken about this before. When that petition came across my desk, the petition had been circulating already for a couple of years. And I don't remember the numbers. I know that I signed it and I sent it on. But say, for instance, because I don't want to lie, so I don't want to make up false numbers, but I'm using numbers as an example. Say, for instance, it said we need 10,000 signatures to this petition. Mind you, when I saw it, it was circulating for a couple of years already. And it literally had about 100 and something signatures on it, which tells me that people are not as interested as they claim to do. And this world of social media now, this is where everybody goes to act concerned. This is where everybody goes to pretend to support. And it's easy to do. Leave a couple of words, like when somebody dead, oh my God, God, we need you now. We need a miracle. This is so serious. We cannot wash the fingers. We cannot continue like this outrage and this, oh my gosh, and this shock and this awe and this, oh gosh, this little girl need help. SouFLo, and then fire off a message. SouFLo, let's put something together and help this child. Oh my gosh, and this in this place right here is about where it starts and it ends for most things. It's where it starts and ends. And when I saw the petition come across for Cockpit Country, yeah, look back on the channel, you will see that I did videos. Shakira Sphere, who was Brains and the Beat at the time, did coverage on Cockpit Country. I did extensive coverage as well. I think hers was a bit even more in depth than mine was. Anyways, we came to learn that Cockpit Country was like, Jamaica is the body, right? This is Jamaica. All of this is Jamaica, head, foot, face, hand, everything. And Cockpit Country is the lungs of the country, the lungs of the island. Now, what happens with your lungs when your lungs are infected? What happens with your lungs when your lungs, if somebody comes and pollutes your lungs? If somebody starts pumping smoke into your lungs, what happens? And we did these videos trying to wake up just so people can at least sign the petition. And they kept sending the petition on or ignoring it. And I'm like, damn, man. I guess we're not talking enough about who's sexing who and who break up with who and go sleep with who and what, like, you know, all the trivial stuff. These are the obstacles that I speak about when I say there are so many obstacles in the way. You have poverty, and then you have all other kind of madness and distractions. And I don't know if people don't want to wake up to reality because they're like, when they wake up, they're like, damn, reality is sad. Let me go back to sleep because I enjoy talking about the frivolous foolishness other than. I remember people used to come to my channel back in the day when I used to do a lot of foolishness on the channel, right? And they used to be like, yo, I love this channel because it breaks up the monotony of my days are serious. I spend my days at work serious. I work 12-hour shifts, 9, 8, 12-hour shifts, and I'm serious all day. It's good to come home sometimes and just tune into some foolishness and some, you know, something that has nothing to do with nothing and take your mind off things. And I think a lot of us just want to exist in that space where we just dive into foolishness, take our mind off reality, and hey, hope for the best. I'll just send out two praying hands. Let's hope for the best for our cockpit country and just continue moving forward. There ain't no moving forward. If they do anything to cockpit country, there is no moving forward. That's going to be a whole lot of moving backward. It's going to be a whole lot of sickness. It's going to be a whole lot of crying, right? And at that time, a prophet like Buju, who can afford to run, will run. But what about those who can't? Yep, them words there will fully be materialized in front of us, especially those who can't run. And those who run gone already looking over there like, me not go back. Just like now, me not go back. You hear that a lot. Me not go back. How much gun over there, call them a kill people. Me not go back. You could afford to run, so you ran. What about those who can't? The lungs of the island. When the island can't take a deep breath anymore, can't breathe deep anymore, can't inhale and exhale anymore, can't give us good oxygen anymore, then we're going to be what you call. Yeah. But until then, everybody will continue to what a new dance. Yeah, leg of the bird, leg of the bird. Yeah, what we got tonight again? Yeah, what around here? So yeah, who there with who again? And hey, we already see it happening. Galaxy, you paying attention? We already see it happening. I've seen places in Jamaica just up and flood out and wash away that weren't like that before, and never experienced these kind of conditions before. A whole town just underwater, and the next town over is good. And I'm like, what? What? Well, then move over the mountain, my friend, and cut a highway gone so. And I'm gonna dig out there, so if you put this there and they're looking for this over there. Everywhere you go now, you see red dirt and all these machines. Where can we find more bauxite? Where can we find more? Because everybody need aluminum. Where can we find more of whatever the hell they're digging out? Dig, dig, dig. And we just killing teeth and laughing. And a simple paper where you could put a signature to it. You just ignore it. Yeah, that not interests me. See it in your email and just click it off. Empty the email. Take out that don't interest me. I don't know what that. I don't know what that. Who dead today? Tell me about that. All right, them shut up the youth. Yo, them kill the police. Yo, them. You know, we're what we're interested in is kind of crazy compared to what we're supposed to be interested in. And it's factual. And I've been saying this for years now. And I've even on this channel done my own research, my own social experiment, just to show you that it's true. And when I'm done with my social experiment, I always tell you, now go and look at this video and look at the views and look at the interaction in the comment section. And then come and look at this video and look at the views and look at the interaction in the comment section. 100 comments over here. So anything we have to do with sense, 50, 60 comments. Barely struggle up to like 5,000 to 10,000 views, something like that. Any kind of weird foolishness 100 and something thousand views and thousands of comments. The proof is in the pudding, man. The proof is in the pudding. We better wake up though. We better wake up. That whole Maroon thing, from my understanding now of what it is, I think we can move forward. I think there needs to be, like, now I understand. I'm not mad at, but I'm wondering why Chief Currie did not explain it to me, and he did reply, but he didn't explain. He just said it's better for her to explain it because she's the one that's. And from Queen Africa's perspective, I don't know. She's Queen Africa. She's busy. Okay, she run her own business. She's a public figure. She this, she that, and the other. She's extremely busy. I'm little old SouFLo. She probably just skipped right through and didn't see, or she probably gets so many emails inundated. I get a whole bunch of mails that I can't even go through myself. I would need a team. So I can only imagine what it probably is for her, given the benefit of the doubt, right? Right. And like Chief Currie said, it missed it because he probably get a lot too. So, but I would have been feeling more satisfied if she not only said, yo, them need to apologize and, come to the table and talk about it and some kind of recourse going forward. If she had broken it down like this, or at least found where the true information is and sent us there so we can go see it ourselves, because half of us we're looking for truth and we're seekers, but we might find it late. Yeah. So if you find it before then send we got it and show us the link. See, this is how we share knowledge, and then through knowledge we can uplift each other, because now we all know the same thing, so we be on the same page now. But if we don't all know it, we all won't be on the same page. Cause me, I gotta tell you, say I chat foolishness. You're gonna tell me, so go read some more. And it's that in itself. Some with knowledge and some without is division. The Coptic soon named Chinese, LOL. Listen to me. Listen to me. As a people, first you must understand that life is short, okay? You are existing right now in a space and time that will no longer be here tomorrow. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And every day you wake up, you're existing in a space and time that will pass within 24 hours and will no longer be there. We have a responsibility to our future before we leave here to hand them something in better condition than what we got it in. And if we're not focused on that as a people, then we are for the future. So think about this. I'm not handing nothing forward to the new generation coming in. Okay, well, a bare separation are gonna go on, and they're going to have to be at the mercy of those who have eyes on your things. People have eyes by your things, Read between the lines. People have eyes on your things. People have hands in your things already. So, if you're not here to fight the fight, whether it's through passing knowledge and recourse and helping however which way you can, even sometimes it's just signing a damn petition and then forwarding something and bombarding somebody's email and letting them know that we not blind and we see it, just that, and people can't do it and refuse to do it. Make some people have to shut off them email and don't want to go in there because there's so many of us coming at it and we're saying the same thing. There are different fronts that you can unify on now. The world has changed. You don't have to get up in the streets no more. The world has changed. But when it comes time to do that, we should do that too. Right? But if you're not willing, then just know within yourself that enjoy your little time, make it as best as you can on earth. But when you leave, just know that on your deathbed going out, you're leaving for your future. Be it your grandchildren's children, be it your whoever comes after you through your bloodline and your people and whatever, just know say a sufferation I go on for them again, future wise, while they become somebody's footstool. And we know whose footstool they're going to be. Dorothy T says, at this point, there's a little part of me that wishes that the legend of the ancestors' ghost was real and just mush up anyone who tries to change certain things, e.g., trying to mine Cockpit country. You know, you you know what the ancestors' ghost spirit, the force is supposed to be? Supposed to be us. It was supposed to be us. But somebody take religion, give it. I know I was looking like this, like, when are you coming? I'm praying hard. Oh, I need to pray harder? Okay, man, go back to pray again. I'm gonna pray some more. Well, I've been praying for 40 years. Okay, pray 40 more. All right, now go pray again. Me not pray hard enough because nothing not going. No, it was supposed to be us. We were supposed to come through like a whirlwind. After what happened to us, we were supposed to come through here taking no apologies and holding no prisoners. But we came through and got pacified. Oh, here's some education. Here's a good job. Here's a nice car. You work hard enough for him. Here's a little bit of money in the bank. Hey, one day you might be able to open your own business. Yeah. And here's a nice house and it's fenced around. You got a nice little pool in the back. Okay, everybody's chilling. It was supposed to be us, my friend. but it's not. It's not. And we're still, where's the ancestor spirits? It's in us. It's in us. Why do you think people look at their children and they're like, damn, you sound just like your dad? Boy, you look just like your father. Carbon copy. That, that's them coming again. Through you. Through us. More pacified, more dumbed down, more not caring, more losing everything that really is ours till we become somebody's footstool. Mm-hmm. If you notice Jamaica, right? I remember I was a kid. I always been into like listening to the words in music. There was an artist out there named Jesse Gender, and Jesse Gender made a song a long time ago. I think Jesse Gender left Jamaica and gone to Africa. He repatriated a while back, if he's still around, like in Jamaica at all. But I remember a song he made, right? And back then, it wasn't happening that much. Hotels weren't popping up everywhere. The number one industry to get into in Jamaica was not call center and hotel work. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that our brothers and sisters uh, have a lot more to offer than serving tourist drinks and cleaning up their hotel rooms and taking care of hotel properties so that tourists can fly in and say, wow, it looks beautiful here. You know, those nice flowers and stuff like that. And bring me my drinks, boy. And, we have a lot more to offer, right? The tourism industry itself helps a lot of people. I'm not talking down on it. It's good that we have one that's booming, and I hope it booms more. But Jesse spoke about this long time ago. I think I was like probably 12, 11, 13, them age there. You know, the age where you're coming off consciousness of certain things. And I heard it in a song, how they want to turn my mother into a maid, my father into a gardener, and with them drinks with the umbrella at night and chilling and thing. And it's like, when I heard it, I said to myself as a kid, I was like, damn, I wonder if the day is gonna come where this actually materialize, them lyrics here become real. Because when he sang it, I saw it happening in my head. Like I saw children going through school, getting out of school and have nowhere else to go to work, but serving tourists that fly in. Yeah, take your bags to your room, sir. All right, bring you your drinks, cook your food, serve you. And it's not like they're getting paid any kind of life-changing money where they can say, yeah, man, the tourist industry I'm working on, me I do good for myself and I build up a house over there, so one piece of land over there, so we farm up right now and help a couple more youths in the community, work on the farm and thing. And it's not like that. A struggling kind of a job. Like when you get paid there, it's barely enough to pay the bills at home. So you're in servitude all the time. And it rings back now to me, those words in Jesse's song. And I was like, oh shit, it's happening. Like, and it's been happening gradually since I heard that song, to where now when I look up, I'm like, it happened. It happened. You know? So you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful. We've been warned. We've been warned. We just didn't pay attention to the warnings. And we're still being warned. And we're still not paying attention to the warnings. And there's more to come. All right. We're at the top of the hour for the morning show. With that said, I didn't. Well, I'll consult with Shakira's Sphere first. I have some information I wanted to let out. Actually, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you know that you know what the information would be. So, but if you don't, then you don't know. I'll consult with her and find out if she cool with it. Then I'll let you guys know what it's about and thing. If she not cool with it, then I won't say nothing. Uh, America needs to step up and fill the developmental void that China is fulfilling now. We need to step up and fill our own developmental void. That's one of our biggest problems. America need to do this, China need to do that. Okay, ain't nobody doing anything for us for free, and that's one thing that we continue to keep on forgetting. Even when your politicians make you feel like, no, they just have our best interest at heart. I lie them, I tell. You don't go to anybody's house to pay them bills and talk about, yeah, I just want to see you do better. Me never push lawnmower go over my neighbor yard yet to cut them grass. Or I just want to beautify your property. You know what I'm saying? Everything has something behind it. You're paying one way or another. So until we become self-sufficient and start doing for us, then we will always be somebody's footstool. Because all this nice stuff they're doing and some licky people, hands out, taking. Well, we're just building up the place and just fixing up the infrastructure and just doing that. We can do all that to ourselves. We can. We need to stop saying we can't. We're going to leave it right there this morning still. Manners and respect to each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. It's Morning Thoughts with SouFLoTV. And I'll catch you right here tomorrow morning. All right. Health is wealth. Take care of your health. All right. One love. See you tomorrow. Peace.